Mary Morris, thank you so much. My first litter of Frenchie, day 3 after C-section. Lumpy breast, lumpy back breast. She's on antibiotics for C-section. Will that help if my girl is developing mastitis? So, sure, it could. I mean, certainly if you develop mastitis and you can't get the thing flowing, then their next course of action is antibiotics. But what do you do, Tammy, for mastitis? You've got lumpy breasts that are hard.
They're 3 days old, so is she making sure the puppies are nursing properly? Did they check for cleft palates? You know, things like that makes you think maybe why the puppies aren't nursing her down.
Okay, good.
Are
right.
you
there you go.
leaving mama with the babies 24/7? Or are you separating her from the babies and feeding every 2 hours? That can make her have a lumpy breast.
Okay, good.
She needs to be emptied out. They
Right.
all take their turns eating, so they're constantly draining her. And if
Right. So you're going to at a slightly different way than I am, but you're right. The problem here is milk that's staying in the breast and not being used up by puppies, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
If you have 1 puppy or 2 puppies, I can see that being a problem.
Yeah. So typically you see mastitis in the front breast because they're not as big and full, and puppies prefer the ones that flow easy, which is the back breast. But either way, if you've got lumpy breasts, it's time to get those breasts flowing. And the way to do that is put a puppy on it.
Yeah.
Or as well, hot towels.
But I would drain it first if it's real hard.
By
I'd
hand?
drain it first and then let the puppy on it so you can get...
Right. So put some hot towels, like a kind of hot compress, on it, and massage it and see if you can get it flowing. And then look at the milk that comes out. You know, does it smell bad? Does it look thick and horrible? If it does, maybe that's not good for a puppy. But either way, you want to get those nipples flowing. I've seen people talk about cabbage leaves for this. I don't know whether that works. Never tried it. I have my doubts on it, but hey, it can't hurt, right? But basically, if you don't get the milk flowing and it starts to clabber up in the breast, you are going to get mastitis, and you eventually will abscess and you'll lose that breast, and you could lose the mama. And then it definitely antibiotics is on board too. So, okay. Hollywood Geese asking about predicting puppy colours. My female is black, so that's a brindle, and carries a copy of blue cocoa and cream. I bred her to a male that is a lilac and tan. Carries a copy of testable and cream. What do you think we'll be expecting? Okay, so both parents carry a copy of cream. A quarter of the litter will be cream. That'll cover all the other colours up. The lilac obviously is both blue and chocolate, and the mama carries blue and cocoa. So you're going to get a litter of half blues and half cocoa. So what you'd expect to get: blues, cocos, could get a brindle, and creams. Cabaret Kennel, thank you so much for your amazing insight. So leaving puppies with mum is the best, right?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
As long as you've got your whelping system set up properly. So you cannot leave mums with babies if you don't have a pig rail. You've got to have a pig rail, otherwise you can get squish puppies. And then the magic that we deliver on this is having our heated whelping system, where the heat tape delivers heat only under the pig rail. And the idea behind this is it puts babies under the pig rail where it's nice and warm 95% of the time. They're very, very safe, and then they can be left with mum. SCD Jackson says, man, you give great information, pardon my language, but F something these clowns. They question what you're doing. It's a lot of use for us. It's very helpful too. Keep up the great work. Yeah, well, there you go. Exactly. We feel the same way. We're not quite as, yeah. Someone want to help with DNA. She's got a dog that's AYA. It carries its testable chocolate and cocoa and a copy of blue, and it's 2 cups of cream. Not sure what you're asking me here. This is a cream dog that is a pied cream dog that is chocolate. It's actually new shade, got both those chocolate and ATAY. I don't know if that's helping you much, but anyway, sorry. Caleb Browland, do I need to keep heat if I live in Florida, or is this only for people who live in cold areas? No, it's not. You cannot keep your house hot enough to keep your puppies happy. Puppies got to be kept close to 100 degrees. If you think that you're going to keep your house to 100 degrees and everybody in your house is going to love you, the only person who's going to love you if you do that is going to be the whoever you're buying your energy from, the electric, what's that, Florida Electric and Power, or whoever that is. No, you doesn't matter whether you live in the middle of Africa or up in Iceland. You need to have a secondary source of heat for your puppies, otherwise they will get in trouble. Because remember, you've got to live in your house, which means your house is something between 65 and 75 degrees. It's not the right temperature for a puppy. Puppies have to be a lot warmer than that. So we recommend our heated whelping system because it puts heat just in the right place. But whatever you do, you've either got to have a heat lamp, we hate them, a heat pad underneath, we hate that, or a heating system.
And
we
they're
love that.
heated all the way up till 5 and 6 weeks old.
Well, our puppies right now, what, 3?
They're coming up 4 weeks.
Four
on
weeks.
Tuesday.
And they're in there with mum in our heated whelping system, and they still sit underneath the pig rail a lot of the time. They're getting to the point now they're moving around a lot, so they're kind of walking around, but they still crash.
You gotta keep the cold draft off of them too. So.
That's right. So yeah. Dev Too Nasty commented on 4 vids now, but my question's never been answered. Sorry, I mean I try to get to everything. So the only times that I don't
He's only human.
Yeah, the only times I don't answer questions because either, and I'm not saying your questions, it's either rude or silly to the point it doesn't need to be answered, or I just missed it because.
What was her question?
I don't know.
Oh, well, that was silly, wasn't it? Not asking again.
Well,
I mean, if you don't get your question answered,
well, ask it again. Ask
or
it
either call and tell him, hey, I've been asking.
Well, just ask it again.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get into the stuff we already answered. So this is the problem. We don't do this every day, so sometimes there'll be a gap where I don't answer things. Oh, we're talking about Kiki. Somebody said, so sorry she had to go through that.
Yeah.
It was sad. But she's. I mean, we went to Chanel's yesterday, and Kiki's just a happy girl. So
totally different.
So
yeah.
Kiki's not having any babies, but she's a happy girl.
We were all ball babies for about 3 days.
Yep. Raekwon Jefferson. I'll let Tammy start on this one. Hello, how do you see the future of the Frenchie Bulldog with all the new genes coming out? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
About all the new genes.
This is going to be the end of this one, so I'm just going to sit back and relax.
About all the...
Well, all the different colours, merles, and light
great.
tans and fluffies and pinks.
It's great.
Yeah. So you're for it?
Yeah.
Me too. What do you think's going to happen? Are Frenchies, nobody's going to sell a Frenchie next year?
Some of the new genes will probably wear out, but not the fluffy and not the testable.
Well, have you known of a gene that's wore out
shade.
so far? Can you think of a single gene that's wore out so far?
No, I used to think that blue, this was 20 some odd years ago, that I used to think that blue was not going to last. Oh, was I way wrong?
It's a foundation for lots.
Yeah.
It's a foundation for all kind of lilacs and all these things. The foundations on blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
And it's fun coming up with what you're going to see in your babies, you know.
So there are some things going on in other parts of the world that are interesting. You've got some murmurings from other places like Australia, where they're going to supposedly. I saw one thing that said that they were going to stop registering. They were going to disallow French bulldogs. I mean, here's the deal, folks.
So was that really on the up and up about that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, but here's the deal. What is the #1 most popular dog on the AKC charts in America?
Number 1?
Yes.
I think it's the Labs.
You're
It's
right.
the French Bulldogs.
Number 2 is the Frenchies. Number 2 is the Frenchies. And number 2 wasn't, the Frenchies weren't number 2. They were like number 6 or 7 about 15 years ago. And they've been moving up the ladder, and they're now number 2. Why is a French Bulldog number 2 on the likability of dogs? Do you think?
Because they're the most loved.
Anybody's got a French Bulldog? Anybody's had a Lab, by the way? What do you think of Labs?
Oh, Labs are fantastic too.
Well, guess what?
If they're not
We've got a
hunting
Lab.
quality where they're bouncing off the walls, if you got a real calm Lab, those are fantastic.
We have a Lab. We have a Lab.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Yes.
She's a beautiful dog.
Beautiful.
Love her to death.
Little
right.
birdie.
She's a
My Miss
gorgeous.
Birdie.
She's a beautiful dog. So, but the point here is that Frenchies are well. Now, you've got some craziness. So here's the problem with this. People are concerned about the... Tammy's going to get in trouble here.
No, I'm not. It's everybody's just...
There you go.
I've got plenty of room.
Oh, yeah, you do too. Right there.
Yeah.
Look at
Everybody's being a...
Oh, they're honking at you.
Yeah. It's like, you made me mad. You thought of that as I was thinking it, and I didn't do it.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's just keep on with this discussion, because this is going to be the end of this video, is talking about this. So here's the problem. The problem is that we are raising these dogs that do have some fundamental foundation problems, in that Frenchies can't easily breed themselves, so we have to step in and do it naturally. They can't have whelps, so we have to step in and do C-sections. We like to see these flatter-faced dogs. They can have breathing issues. They have shorter backs. We can have some spine issues. I'm not here to defend the idea that the French Bulldog is the most healthiest dog, and for that reason it's number 2 on the list.
No, but they've got a heart of gold. Their hearts are bigger than their whole little bodies.
So the life expectancy of a French Bulldog is something around 8 years. Some of them make it till 12, some of them make it till 5, but the average, I think, is something around 10, 12 years is kind of average length of a Bulldog. There's lots of dogs, especially big dogs, that don't make it that long. Small dogs like Chihuahuas, we have a Chihuahua. That dog is, how old is our Chihuahua?
She's 7, I think.
Oh, she's older than that. She's a lot older than that.
Okay.
Well, either way, but the point here is Chihuahuas can make it till 20 or more. Small dogs tend to make it a lot longer. Bigger dogs, yeah, labs, 10, 12 years you're done. So
I had a lab that lasted till she was 13.
that was
Babe.
Babe. Yes, that was Babe. She was bitten by a snake too, wasn't she?
Oh gosh, she had been. Somebody was taking a pot shot.
Oh. Yeah.
In a neighborhood in a very small town that I was in, and shattered her front leg with a hollow point gun, and that's something. So she had that, and then she got bit by a snake, and so she lived a long, fantastic life.
Right. Again, I'll track you a little bit, because we're going to talk about colours here in a moment, and what do we think is going on.
Yeah.
But the answer is, it's kind of like the stock market. If you want to try and get me to predict what I think is going to be popular next year, probably going to get it wrong. And I think, So there are some things. I mean, for instance, the new things are 2 new things. Well, there's 3 new things that have come up in this last couple of years: Fluffies, Pinks, and Huskies. Right?
A new shade.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
New shade was
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. I mean, they get more popular, but their new shade's been around for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Of course, the ability, it's just hard to produce a new shade, but new shades have been around for a long time. But okay, let's talk about Fluffies. So the Fluffy market. What goes on here is that when prices get crazy, people want to cash in on that deal and start producing those dogs as long as the demand is there. So right now, the supply is for full Fluffies is limited. The demand is great. Consequently, there's a lot of fluffy carriers out there. I think the prices on those dogs are going to drop. And you see some of these dogs going for hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is just completely nuts. But that's just the way that it is. So what's going to happen to the Fluffies? Well, look, I know this about the Fluffies that we've had. They're cute as hell.
Oh my word, they're like little
Cute.
teddy bears.
They're cute. They're a Frenchie. They've got all the Frenchie personality. The ones we've had don't shed hair. That's a positive. They do need some more grooming because they've got long hair in the back where they poop. But I think they're cute as heck. A lot of other people apparently think that too. So the Fluffies, I'm sure the prices are going to come down. The Pinks, I don't know about that one. I mean, I don't know enough about it to be able to comment on it sensibly. You kind of wonder about what's going on with things like skin allergies out in the sun and things like that with those dogs. But if these dogs are in demand, then they'll be produced more, and because of that, you'll see there's this line of Pinks.
I don't know if a pink is an albino or what.
I don't think it is.
Chime in on that one. I don't know.
I don't think it is. I got to learn more about this. So then let's talk about now the registration people, the AKC. What does the AKC think about this? Well, you can't go into the show ring and anything it's got to be a short-haired dog, it's a cream, brindle, or a fawn, or a pied version of those. That's it. we've got lilacs and blue and tans and chocolate and tans and new shades and fluffies and pinks and huskies. And I mean, all those dogs, they're not going on the show ring. I think that the AKC should open it up personally, and they should allow all these dogs to be shown.
It's all about confirmation, folks.
So then you've got these places like, in Australia, supposedly they're going to ban French bulldogs. I mean, this is just complete freaking nuts, in my opinion. It's like, if you're going to ban French bulldogs, people are still going to breed them. They just won't have registration.
I hope it's wrong.
Well, I mean, I think that if people want to put pressure on the structure of French bulldogs and get more back to the breed standard that was there 100 years ago, which is a different dog than it is now, they need to apply those to the ring. They apply those standards to the ring. Nobody can argue about it. They can say, it's our ring, our club, our rules. And if they want to say that a dog needs to have a longer back, more tail, more muzzle, then make that part of the breed standard, and then hopefully you'll bring things around. And I'm going to end on this here pretty quick, but I'm going to say one little story here that I think is kind of interesting. I'm going to get Tammy some directions here, so bear with me for a second here. There's my Google Maps. So look at what happened in England. Let's ignore that. Sorry. What was that called? Cafe something or other? Cafe something? Unwind, right? Cafe Unwind.
It's a Canada flag and American flag. What are they doing?
Here we go. 1.2 miles, you're going to take 235 north.
Okay.
All right, so here's the end of this. So let's just look at what happened in England. So in England, they treated dogs as a taxable item. I think you may still have to have a tax stamp for a dog. So they taxed a dog based on the length of its tail. That's what the government did, because they're idiots, right? So they tax dogs on the length of the tail. Well, they are. The freaking government's all idiots, in my opinion. They're all idiots. They don't like government. I mean, I've got.
You on that, they're gonna come after you.
Well, I mean, you've got to have government to have things like legal system and a police system and an armies and those, but not much else. But anyway, so England, they started to get into this to tax dogs. I mean, what right have they got to tax dogs? But they did. So they taxed a dog on the length of tail. More tail, more tax. Guess what people did? What they do?
Cut the tails off.
They cut the tails off. That's exactly what they did. People are smarter than the government. So this idea that you can stop French bulldogs,
That's a long time ago,
I mean, you're still getting people who are trying to control what we're doing with our dogs. I don't like it. I don't like it. So my point here is, if you're going to try and predict what you think is coming in the future, good luck to you. I think what you should do is you should breed what you like. If that's what your intent is you should be breeding dogs because you enjoy dogs and you look after them and you have a good time with them. And that should be your fundamental motive. At the same time, if you can make that something that generates income for you, then wonderful. You took 237. All right, so there we go. Paddled on for a long time about that one. Bye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.